Hi everyone, how are you doing? So I felt with how the energies are at the moment, this was a good time to come on and have a conversation about this. And this topic is something that is becoming more and more prominent, more and more important as time goes on, since we had the big paradigm shift that was 2020. As the years go on, this heart-centered courage that allows us to hold expansion is becoming more and more prominent. I want to tell you a little story. So I have been running my business since 2016, so it'll be 10 years this year. And in the early days of my business, I ran a mindfulness business. So all I did was teach mindfulness courses, do mindfulness workshops for corporate. I worked all around the UK doing mindfulness workshops and left my corporate job not long after that, went fully into my business and hired a coach when I started to really think about expanding my business, right? And one of the things that my coach picked up on in my energy, because she was really like in alignment with who I was and the gifts that I had, was being able to see that there was so much more that I was hiding. Okay, so this isn't the important part of the story, but just if you resonate with this, like, you have got so many gifts in yourself and there are so many things that you are here to help people with at this moment. So she could see that in me and helped me to expand into what is now my soul business. Okay, so when she did that, and when I saw, not just with her, but I saw the success that lots of women were having in this space, right? Lots of women were having success in the wellness, the kind of intuitive coaching, healing businesses. They were having success. They were so visible. Like, at this point in time, when I ran my mindfulness business, I used to just post 3 times a week. I just used to post about, like, here's a useful fact, right? Didn't really know anything about marketing or anything like that. Anyway, I ran a successful mindfulness business. And one of the biggest misconceptions that I had at this time, as I was looking at all these other women that were so powerful, so incredible, had created such amazing results in their business, I had this misconception, which was partly shaped from the fact that I came from a corporate background, right? So I came from a push, do more, push yourself into burnout, then receive bonuses for that burnout. That was my background in corporate. So it was partly that, and it was partly this perception, was when I looked at these incredible, successful women, and I thought, wow, they must do a lot. I don't think I have the energy to do what they do. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could show up on social media every day. I don't think, I think my energy would be really drained. How am I supposed to have a social life? How am I supposed to spend time with my family? How am I meant to, I'm an introvert. How do I have alone time? And grow my business? How do I do this? How are these people so visible and so successful? So I then made them not like me, right? I then said, well, they must be extroverts. They must have loads of energy. They must not be neurodivergent. They must not be I made all these things, and I said, I must be separate. I must need something different. And thankfully at the time, because I trained to be a coach myself, I was getting coaching myself. And thankfully at the time, what coaching did for me, and this is what coaching does for you, right? Is it says, who are you authentically? You've got the answers inside of you. You know, what life you want to create. You know what is authentic for you, right? So coaching gives us this space. But even then, I still thought, they've got something I haven't. There's a trait in them that I haven't got. And the biggest misconception, and this is why I feel called to talk about this again today, in these current energies and the identity piece that's coming up at the moment. And in Quantum Queen this month, we've been focused on identity and magic money. And we've been really honing in on who is the identity, like stabilizing that identity of who we are for the rest of 2026. And moving into March, we're going to be moving into embodiment energy. So we're going to be doing that real kind of walk as if, right? So anyway, back to this story. The biggest misconception, I can see people are watching. Say hi if you're here. I just check on my laptop because I don't always see comments. So the biggest misconception that I actually had was that these people were like somehow different to me. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing that I found that completely blew my mind, was that the women, and only the women that I resonated with, only the ones that gave me that full body yes, only the ones that I felt could truly help me, only the ones who I resonated with, that my energy, the energy felt pure, clean, it felt like an exhale when I was in their presence, right? Only these people. And this is also when I was beginning to discern, right? And testing my body truth and kind of going, is this space right for me? Is this space right for me? Like, oh, I feel really like safe and seen over here. So I'll go towards that. This is when I was really testing that, that body truth, that sacred yes, that sacred no at the time as well. So those women that were aligned for me, and the coaches that I did work with and did see success with, the unsaid, the unseen and the unsaid, which is why I'm bringing this to the surface now, right? The energy this year, we're seeing it everywhere collectively. The energy this year is about the reveal, everything coming up to the surface. So I want to reveal this to you now because this wasn't revealed to me. These really aligned women, they were introverted, they were sensitive, they were neurodivergent, some of them had chronic health issues, and they led really gentle lives. They led really gentle lives. They focused on nourishment, they focused on listening to their bodies. So this is why I wanted to talk about this theme of heart-centered courage, and this is what holds us through expansion. And I was literally doing it this morning. You might even see I've got bags under my eyes today. I didn't sleep very well. There were some intense energies. There was some stuff going on yesterday that made me feel a little dysregulated. So, I did all the regulation practices, and I was a little affected with my sleep last night, as you can probably see if you're watching this on video. I don't have any concealer, so so this literally happened, like hot off the press. It's like I knew I wanted to show up today, and the old me, the old me, the old corporate version of myself would have been in push energy. You push on through, it doesn't matter how you feel, we keep going anyway. Successful people keep going, in this like bro marketing mentality. Come on, show up, build muscle, okay? This whole like bro marketing mentality, right? So that is, of course, as we know, toxic masculine. So that was like the old me. And that was the version of me that I met these incredible aligned people in that energy, thinking there's no way they built success unless they were these like bro marketing people, right? And don't get me wrong, I met loads of women that were like that on this journey and soon learned that like, no, that's not for me. But the thing they had in common was that ability to create a life that was really peaceful, that was really nourishing, to create a life around their sensitivities, around their gifts. And the amount of gentle, nourishing, body-led practices that they did, but it wasn't spoken about, right? So I'm going to speak about it, and I'm going to speak today about how this has created success for me in my life and my business. It has been body-led, and I have had a slap in the face in the early days of this, because I came from corporate. I came from corporate where you are rewarded for the push and hustle, and I pushed myself into burnout. And then, because I was so scared of the burnout from corporate, I then went into wounded feminine. Okay, so this is where we see it happen. Too much masculine energy, and we talk about this in Cosmic Coach, and I help you teach this to your clients as well in Cosmic Coach. That feminine magic and the masculine structures and containers to hold that. We need both. So too far in our masculine, we end up in toxic masculine and burnout when there's no nurture, there's no feminine energy there, right? Other than, I don't know about you, but for me, this was like, I'd have the foreign holidays where I'd lay on the beach, I'd have the spa days, but I didn't have the peaceful, aligned life that I have now. I didn't have the, every day is a peaceful day. Every day is a nourishing day, like moving from that space and my morning routine, my daily practices, the things that regulate my nervous system and all of those things. Like, this was like an elusive concept that no one talked about. And it was only when I questioned it, and I can remember having a conversation with one of my coaches and saying, well, surely you're not an introvert. Like, surely you wouldn't be so visible online like this if you were an introvert. And she was like, I am. And I'm sensitive, neurodivergent. And I was like, but how? And I asked her why. I was like, but why? Like, how do you do this? How do you show up online every day? And what I came to learn over that period of time was it was body-led, it was nourished, and she had those masculine structures, those containers, those structures, those boundaries to hold that beautiful gift. Whether that was, the systems, the structures, the support to hold that beautiful feminine energy, okay? So, I want to come to the word courage. And I don't know if you know this, but the word courage comes from the French word cœur, which means heart. So the word courage comes from the word heart. So what is courage really? Courage is not this masculine, pushy, forceful energy. Courage is a feminine, heart-led energy. It is the energy of self-devotion. It is the energy of overflow. It is the energy of that cup truly overflowing into the saucer. And then that saucer is your service that you give to the world. And in these fire horse energies right now, it feels like we can get caught up in the hustle. We can get caught up in the push. The world is very chaotic right now. There's lots that's like, coming up to the surface. Even if we don't follow things, like we don't see things in the media, like we're still feeling it, right? You're still going to be feeling these energies. So it's almost like it almost feels chaotic. So what we need right now is that extra nourishment to hold the expansion. And the other thing is the opposite of our default reaction. You will find that when you lean into the opposite of what your default reaction is in a situation, your reality will shift. Your reality will change. And this is the theme for March that we've got in Quantum Queen, which I'm going to be doing the energy update on this at the start of the week. So come join us in there if you want to be in on that and the hot off the press energies coming through right now. Because March is about embodiment. So right now, you're being shown what parts of your identity need to shift so that you can step into that version of you that is going to walk you through the next part of the year, the next few years, in fact. Okay? So the identity stabilization is choosing what choices do I make that are body-led? How am I choosing joy today? How am I choosing fun today? How am I choosing nourishment today? And I want to speak out about this unsaid, because, and this isn't just kind of this industry, this isn't just this space, this industry either. So when I was in corporate and we were doing a leadership project, so I was pulled into using my positive psychology skills into a global leadership project. And one of the things we did is we studied high performing and ethical organizations, right? Think of like your Starbucks of the world, right? They're ethical and they're high performing, right? They make a lot of money and they are ethical. And the thing that they had underpinning these most successful companies was the same thing. So they had positive psychology principles, which is basically the science of happiness, which says that when you can create more positive emotion in your life and you can fuel the happiness chemicals in your brain, and for men it's more dopamine that's more important, for women more oxytocin, so like, you know, the cuddle hormone is more important, which also regulates our nervous system on a brain level, on a neuroscience level. That enables your brain to be more creative, to be more productive, and it shuts down the fight flight center, the amygdala actually shuts it down. So whether you look at this on a local level or a global level, like the most successful and ethical, like highlight that word, organizations and people, they are underpinned by that heart-centeredness. They are underpinned by following the joy, following the peace, following the flow, doing what lights them up. This underpins everything. It underpins success. And this is not being spoken about enough. This is not being spoken about enough. And the online landscape has been so, flooded with bro marketing, right? Push through, show up anyway, do the thing, you know? It has been so flooded by bro marketing, and what we're seeing is this is no longer holding up. And it will continue to hold up in the circles that it's in. But if you're here, if you're watching this, that kind of hustle mentality, you know deeply is not for you. You know you're here to lead a peaceful, soul-led, nourishing life, right? And it is this softness, this gentleness, this nourishment that creates those quantum leaps. Like time and time again, I have seen it happen with the big things, with the small things. When I lead from that body-led, nourished space, my reality shifts from me. Last week I manifested a grounding sheet, like the small things, or the big things, like the houses, the mansion with the swimming pool I got to stay in, like, you know, the big and the small things. Like your reality will shift, even dynamics with people, when you anchor this in. Like your slowness, your nourishment is actually your speed. And I did a whole podcast episode on this, which was about when to go slow, when to go fast, because the reality is that your energy moves very fast, right? And that is sometimes the issue, is the 3D is slow, and it is the fact that the 3D is slow that's actually burning you out. It's not the 3D is fast, it's that the 3D is slow, because it's 3D, it's dense, right? But there's just like so much of it and so much complexity, and actually you're here to rise above that complexity. And you do that by being body-led, you do that by being heart-led, And with that heart-led, with that body-led, comes that courage to speak up, to call out the bullshit, to expose, to show others there is a different way of doing things. That's why you're here. And that takes courage. Okay? So it is both. It is both fast and slow. It's both masculine and feminine. It is coaching, being able to hold spaces for people in a way that asks them powerful questions, in a way that honours who they are authentically. It's the masculine structures in your business that enable you to do that. It's the seeing right now. It's the seeing what is happening in the world right now, seeing that default reaction to want to collapse, come in, hide. And I'm not perfect. I noticed it in myself this morning. I knew I wanted to show up this week. I knew I wanted to go live this week. And then I went through some stuff yesterday and I noticed it come in. I noticed the default reaction. I noticed maybe I should just do an audio podcast today rather than be on video because I didn't sleep very well. I saw it come in. I saw the contraction come in my body. And I said no. Because I lead myself with nourishment, with body truth, with my sacred yes and my sacred no. And today will be filled with joy, with fun, with slowness, with stillness, with peacefulness. And that's how I hold myself through that. And this is what this year is asking of you, to choose expansion. And the natural response of the brain is to spot threats. That's how the brain works, right? Spot threats, keep us safe. But when you choose expansion anyway, you hack the system, you hack the matrix, and you get rid of the fear that's been trying to keep you small, trying to keep you controlled. When you say, I see this whatever that, whatever that thing is for you, however that is showing up for you, when you say, I see it, I feel it, and this is how I'm going to hold myself through this. This is how I'm going to show up anyway. And I lead an incredibly quiet, peaceful, introverted life. And I still show up because I've learned to show up in a way that works for me. And many of my clients are introverts. I have clients that have chronic illness. A lot of that, we're clearing that off energetically. And I know that if I didn't know, if I didn't have, I got there myself eventually, right? But if I didn't have others supporting me and seeing others have success that were introverted, that were sensitive, that were neurodivergent, that did lead really slow, peaceful, introverted lives, if I didn't see that, then I just wouldn't have known. And I would have continued to tell myself the story that, somehow I'm broken. And this is the gift that I get to do this for my clients now. As I said, I have introvert, I have neurodivergent clients, I have clients that have chronic illness. And many of them, because I hold space in a way that is gentle, in a way that holds space for your authentic truth, in a way that you can show up from your bed if you want to. I've had new mums show up, breastfeeding their babies on our one-to-one sessions. I hold that space for you where you can be you, in that space of gentleness, nourishment, what it is that you need in that moment. And I feel this is so important for you to do this for others at the moment as well. Because there are so many people out there who feel like they don't have the capacity, right? This is a big collective thought pattern. I don't have the capacity. It's all right for them because they must have loads of energy. It's all right for them because of this and that, right? But the truth is that you can create a life, a business that gives you that capacity for whatever authentic way showing up looks like for you. Okay, there is a way. So your slowness becomes your fastness. Your courage is heart-centered, and this leads to your expansion. And remember, the quantum field operates in a space of wholeness. So whatever you're feeling, whatever your frequency is in any given moment, that is what you are going to be getting. So this is also why this is really important, because if you allow yourself to get swept up in the fear, to get swept up in those constriction energies, that's going to be the frequency that you're in. That's going to manifest more of that. I know you want that next level, that quantum leap, that shift, that luxury, peace, flow, ease, bliss. I know you want that. If you're here, I know that, okay? And it takes this bridge to that expansion, to seeing, like, how do I, these moment-to-moment choices of seeing the fear, feeling the constriction, feeling the collective energies, and then being able to put that mindful pause between stimulus and response to say, how do I respond to this in a place of expansion instead of lack, scarcity, constricted fear, okay? When you make that choice, this is when everything changes. And when you honour that sacred yes and sacred no, don't already have a copy of my free sacred yes content, like this will help you with that, so let me know. And if you're feeling this calling as this gentle, nourishing leader of the new paradigm, that you are here to bridge this, the science and the spiritual, the quantum field, magic, and the neuroscience, the coaching that enables people to be their most authentic selves, and the healing that shifts the entire, transforms their entire reality, then Cosmic Coach is for you. We have the next round starting next month. I will pop the links below. Any questions, just ask me. And I'm so excited for this round because it has come at the perfect timing with the collective energies and the deepening of your transformation that you are here to hold in this world. So if you watch this on the replay, let me know. If you're listening on the podcast, then tag me in your stories. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Reach out to me on socials. Come say hi. Come join this conversation. Thank you for being here with me. I'd like to invite you just to take a nice deep breath, breathing in through your nose and out through the mouth as we just come into that space of regulation, just allowing those messages to land for you today in whichever way they're meant to land for you today. Just holding space for you to be you and feel nourished. Thank you for watching and listening, and have a wonderful rest of your week.